So I don't usually do this kind of detailed holiday, and I don't usually share them that much. But I thought it might be a fun opportunity to show other people overseas or in different countries what the Philippines is like, especially if you haven't been or you're not able to. So a big part of the reason I'm actually doing this is for my dad. For those who don't know, my dad passed away earlier from prostate cancer at the beginning of this year, and Dad travelled a lot. Like, he really enjoyed travelling and he enjoyed documenting it as well. And we were joking one time for this holiday that he was supposed to go on as well, that we were going to film a video and he was going to host his own travel vlog, and then we were going to video it and I guess video capture it and edit it, because he did not know how to. So unfortunately he can't be with us, he's only here in spirit. But my sister and I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of carry on his legacy and kind of carry on this fun hobby that he's obviously passed down to us, and show you what my motherland is actually all about. And throughout this video, or this whole series actually, I'm going to insert a few little snippets of what it was like then when he was filming as well, and I thought it'd be fun for his friends as well to see what it was like on holidays and how much he enjoyed just taking a break from, I guess, real life and work, and because he's an incredibly hard worker, and see him in another life. Okay, so this series is going to be a 5-part series. As much as I do love documenting things, I also like living in the present as much as possible. I don't want to be, I guess, looking through the lens of my camera the entire time, because you're still going to miss stuff. If you enjoy it, then that's cool, but I prefer not to, and that's why it's only 5 episodes. I also don't want to be sitting up in the hotel room or at relatives' houses and be up editing these lengthy vlog-a-day episodes. I'd rather kind of condense it down and kind of compile the entire week. So that's why I've done 5. Oh yeah, by the way, I should probably say us, because my sister's also doing this project with me, but she is at work at the moment, so I thought I'd get a head start on it. Also, I'm trying to speak more Tagalog, which is the official language of the Philippines. People will just refer to as Filipino sometimes. And I'm trying to speak more of that because it was my first language and then I came to Australia. But I would really, as much as possible, would love to get that back and be bilingual. And yeah, so I can, I guess, just be able to communicate with a variety of people is always good, even though English is the second official language of the Philippines. So I will be putting English subtitles down here, by the way, for when I am speaking Tagalog. My Filipino accent is really bad. I do apologize for that, but I assure you that I fluently understand Tagalog, and I understand anyone who does speak to me in Tagalog. It's just even when I say Tagalog, it's not the right accent. Anyway, yeah, I do understand fluently. It's just speaking, I have to think about stringing together words into a sentence. It's just a bit more difficult for me, and obviously the intonation and the how you pronounce the vowels and stuff is different. So it's like someone coming to Australia speaking English but having a different accent. That's me going back to the Philippines speaking it but having a different accent. Okay, and now I start with the backstory. So my sister and I were born in the Philippines. The Philippines is an archipelago, which means it's made up of all these tiny little islands. And basically the Philippines is one of the largest because it actually is almost 8,000 islands. Some of them aren't even, you can't access some of the places there just because of mountains and rough terrain that people just don't bother settling, there's usually some indigenous communities there, which is really nice. So they still have their like old tribal traditions, which is a nice aspect. It is located in Asia, so it's like above Indonesia, below Japan, and about southeast of China. So that's if you needed to place it somewhere on the map, that's where it is. It is in the Northern Hemisphere as well. Last of all, another feature of the Philippines is that it actually sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire. That's why we get a lot of natural disasters there, like typhoons, and we have a lot of volcanoes there. And it is part of the centre of marine biodiversity in the world. That's why we get a lot of marine life there. I think it's called the Coral Triangle. I'm going to confirm that. But it's called the Coral Triangle, and the Philippines is basically the centre of marine biodiversity. Okay, so it is, for those wondering or what kind of culture we have, it has been influenced by a lot of different cultures, especially back in the 19th and 20th centuries. So I don't think you guys need a full-on history of it. I think you can search it up, Google search, and do your own research if this really interests you. But just to give a little backdrop of it, it was colonized by Spain for about 333 years. And then at the end of the Philippine Revolution, it was basically sold to it was very complex. I don't know why I said basically. But it was sold to the United States, and then we had the American Philippine War, and the Philippines ended up becoming a territory of the United States. And that was from 1899 to 1946. And then during that time, during World War II, actually, the Japanese basically occupied them for a few years. And then at the end of World War II, that's when it became the Republica ng Pilipinas. So it became independent in 1946. So as you can imagine, there were so many countries that influenced it, and it's not just the countries that occupied them, it was also like Chinese, Malay trade, and then obviously the traditions of our indigenous people. So there's a lot of, that's why it's kind of a little bit unique. So my mum's actually from Manila, which is the capital city, and my dad is from Tanhai, which is a village close to Dumaguete. He actually has a different dialect, so there are multiple dialects in the Philippines. His is Cebuano, and a lot of people just call it Bisaya, and my mum is Tagalog. I didn't learn as much Bisaya. I would like to, because I'd like to be able to understand it and be able to communicate really well with the other side of my family. But yeah, so I haven't really had the chance to, but I would, if anyone here in Australia, Melbourne, is offering some courses in Bisaya, I would love to sign up. My sister and I were 4 years old. We moved to Australia. But I always loved going back to the Philippines. It's like when you first get off the plane, the humidity just hits you in the face. It's like, oh yeah, this kind of feels like home too. And apart from the country itself and the people, I also miss the food. I really do miss the food. My mum and a lot of Australian Filipinos here are very good cooks, and they cook really, really nice food. And I have also learned, so my sister and I sometimes cook the cuisine because we miss it. The main difference is probably the price as well. It's a lot cheaper over there. Here in Australia, because it's imported, it's quite expensive. And like everything else in Australia, if I'm being honest. So the currency we use here is the dollar, the Australian dollar. The currency we use in the Philippines is pesos. And I should say Philippine pesos, because I have a feeling that Mexico also uses pesos. So with that big background out of the way, I'm so excited for you guys to watch this with me and kind of come on this vacation with me and my family, especially my friends and family and my dad's friends who have had the pleasure of traveling and knowing him, I think I'm gonna insert some relevant videos throughout this series because I just think they're really funny and they're nice. Like you can draw comparisons to this and Dad's vlogs. My sister Rose will join me in the next episode for when we're actually gonna, like, all videos aren't gonna be like me sitting in front of the computer. I don't think you want to stare at my face for that long. But yeah, she will definitely be in the next one. After this I will leave it and I'm going to start on some tips and travel tips and how I would pack for the Philippines. So if you don't want to watch that because you might think it's really boring, not care, that's fine. I will see you in the next episode if you're still interested. But if you want to see how I would pack, then stay on and keep playing the video. Oh my god, I'm so awkward.